أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي خلق الإنسان في أحسن تقويم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Dear beloved Muslims, that is, we seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected enemy. With the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Praise be to Allah, who has indeed created the human being in the best of modes. And I witness that there is no God but Allah, and I witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. Prayer and peace be upon Muhammad, and upon his family, upon his companions, and upon all of us. I come before you as a reminder, not a teacher, because Allah is the best of teachers. We give Allah thanks and praise with Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. And I greet you with the universal greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak. Alhamdulillah. It's always a great thing, very great thing when Eid and Jummah on the same day. Alhamdulillah. You know, and just as a point of clarity, you know, and I honestly didn't know this was a thing until yesterday. The Eid khutbah does not replace the Jummah khutbah. Jummah is the most important day for the Muslim life. It's the most important day for us. It's more important than the Ramadan. It's more important than the Eid birthdays, so on and so forth. We have to have that as crystal clear as possible. To be here right now in this building at Jummah, on time, we have so many blessings. Sins are forgiven. So alhamdulillah, you know, I just wanted to clear that up before we got into the khutbah, inshallah. And alhamdulillah, we're here. So most of you all know, or all of you all know, that the Eid khutbah did not replace the Jummah khutbah. Alhamdulillah, the topic I want to speak on today is Ramadan, a return to obedience. And I want to read out of the Quran, Surah 8, Ayat 24, where Allah says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu istijabu lillahi wa lil rasuli idha da'akum lima yuhyikum wa alamu anna Allah yahulu baina al-mari wa qalbihi وَأَنَّهُ إِلَيْهِ تُشْعَرُونَ. And that is, O ye who believe, give your response to Allah and His Messenger when He call you to that which will give you life, and know that Allah come in between a man and his heart, and that is He to whom you should be all be gathered. Now, when we read the Quran, we like to read it as it comes in order, and it's a reasoning to why the Quran is written as it is. So the first part of that ayat, it says, "O ye who believe, give your response to Allah and His Messenger when He call you to that which will give you life." Now, when we respond to something, when you think about somebody's response or respond to something, that is, you think about a first responder, or if somebody loaned you some money, or a brother gave me a call, or I gave a brother a call, and it said, and you see the brother, and you see the number on the phone, and when you pick it up, the brother says, "Hey man, can you help me move this weekend? Hey brother, can you help me mow my yard this weekend?" And you're like, "Well, I can't lie to the brother. I really don't feel like doing this work, but I responded to him, so I'm accountable for it now. I'm gonna have to go help the brother, and I'm gonna help him with a good heart." And so when we respond to something, we take responsibility on with that response. So in the first part of this ayah, it says, "O ye who believe." Now, if I say I believe, if you say you believe, then Allah is saying, give your response to Him and His Messenger. And it says, when He call you to that which will give you life. Now, we just heard the adhan. In that adhan, it says, "Hayya ala salat, hayya ala falah." This is a response. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. This is a response. This is Allah calling us to that which would give us life. This is Allah calling us to the prayer. And when we come to the prayer, we use what? The Quran. And the Quran is the book that gives life. The Quran is a book for the past, the present, and the future. The Quran will be unchanged forever. So this is the call to obedience that the Quran gives. That's a call that will give us life. And so when we hear the adhan, that's the obedient nature coming out. That's the obedient nature coming out. Because once you hear the adhan, you have to respond to that call. We have to respond to that call. We can't say, okay, well, I'll go make prayer 10 minutes down the road, or I'm about to leave the message and go make prayer. No, once you hear the adhan, it's time to pray. Because if I said, well, you have some that say, okay, well, I'm finished watching this show. I got till 5 o'clock to make my prayer. I'm gonna wait it out till 5 o'clock. No, it's not that way. If I said, if everybody in here, if I gave you $100 for every prayer you made on time, how many prayers would you make on time? How many prayers would you make on time? Every single one of them. So this is a call to life that Allah tells us about. And so we see this in the human nature. It's called fitra. It's called the Hanif nature. This is the call that Allah brings us to. Just like if any of you have children, I have 3 children, and every child I've seen born, when they come out that womb, it's a whine, whine, and the first thing they want to do is what? They want to eat. That's the first thing they want to do is eat. So when we look at it, we have a physical body, we have a stomach. Yes, we have in a physical body, we have the stomach, we have that appetite. But in the mental body, we also have an appetite. And what are those appetites? The 5 senses. The 5 senses. So the 5 senses, we have those appetites. We have the appetite of sight, the appetite of touch, the appetite of taste, the appetite of hearing, smelling. And those 5 senses during the Ramadan were heightened, were activated higher, right? And so Things just smell a little better. Things just taste a little better. You hear things clearer. You know, your spouse looks a little better. Your spouse smells a little better. You know, you say, baby, man, you always smell good, but you smell great today. You know, you look great today. You know, same thing with the food. When that sustenance comes, you know, that food, that water, you know, it tastes like water you never tasted before. You know, the dates, you don't eat dates the whole year, but you eat dates, and those dates taste so sweet and good during Ramadan. So these things are heightened. These are things that give us life, that give us drive, and five senses. You know, the five senses are heightened during Ramadan. So we look at what is the first, because we're talking about responding to Allah. We look at what is the first responsibility we have as the Muslim. What is the first responsibility we have as the Muslim? Shahada. To say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. This is our first response. This is the base of the faith. This is what we have to say. And some of us in here were born Muslim. A lot of us in here were actually born Muslim, raised Muslim. But for those who are not born and raised Muslim, you come in and you say Shahada, right? And so what happens after that? What does the Imam say? Now you're like a new person. Now all your sins, all your past deeds are washed away. So this is not, when we respond to Allah and we say we believe, this is not something we take lightly and take for granted. And I'm talking about those who are Muslim, have been Muslim. This is not something we take for granted. We say Shahada at least 17 times a day, over and over and over again. But we tend to take it for granted. You know, I work with a couple of Muslims, and this Ramadan, you know, I just observed what they were going to do because I had to get on them last Ramadan. So this Ramadan, they uh I came into work, and so it's, and as bright as it is outside right now, you know, they picking their teeth with a toothpick and everything. They couldn't even say Assalamu alaikum to me. You know, and my thing with them was, if people know you're Muslim, you know, they see you're Muslim, and then they ask you about why are you eating? Isn't it Ramadan? Don't say, oh, it's okay, it's not that important. You know, that's where we're gonna have a problem. Because just say, hey, brother, I'm weak. I'm just weak. You know, but that's a person not responding to the call of Allah. I'm just giving that example. Because when we take Shahada, that is a binding agreement to say, I'm going to do exactly what you say, Allah. There's a binding agreement that says, I'm going to follow the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that binding agreement comes into play in Ramadan. Because Ramadan is one of the favors of Allah. Allah says, what favors of Allah will you deny? Which favors of Allah will you deny? If we deny Ramadan, a favor of Allah, if we deny Shahada, a favor of Allah, Zakat, Salat, Hajj, all these favors Allah gives us to cleanse the soul, to elevate the soul into the magnificence that it's supposed to be, and we just reject these, we put these to the side like they mean nothing, then we're gonna have issues in our life. Many people who go through things in their life and they try to figure out why am I going through these things, it's because they rejected Allah. They're not practicing what Allah said practice. And I'm not saying practice like I'm just doing the bare minimum. As Muslims, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to do the bare minimum. If you say I believe, you know, then believe all the way. If you say you're Muslim, we say we're Muslim, then we're Muslim all the way. We're not part-time Muslims. We're not hopscotch Muslims. You know, we don't say, okay, Muslim here, Muslim out. Muslim in, Muslim out. We're not doing that. You know, if I say I'm Muslim all the way. And that means I'm being completely obedient to Allah the way Allah wants me to be. This is what Ramadan does. It returns us to that obedience that Allah wants us to be. And don't think that Allah needs us to fast for Him. All these, when it says, which of the favors of Allah will you deny? Allah does not need our prayer. Allah does not need our fast. Allah does not need our Hajj. Allah does not need our Shahada. Allah does not need any of that. He's Allah. He is completely independent of us, and we're completely dependent upon Him. And if we drop that dependence, then we are in trouble. You will see your life change. You will see your life, where it said, where Shaitan says, "I'll be their sincere advisor." You'll see Shaitan start being your sincere advisor. You know, people, we say, oh, Shaitan is the saying is Shaitan is locked up during the Ramadan. Really, Shaitan is locked up during the Ramadan, so nothing bad happens during Ramadan. Ignorance doesn't happen during Ramadan. The Shaitan is not locked up during Ramadan unless we are the ones doing the locking. We have to be the ones doing the locking if Shaitan is locked up. Oh, Shaitan is locked up, so nothing bad is going to happen. That's not how it goes. This deen is work. And in order to do this the proper way, and we say, oh, I'm a practicing Muslim. And I coach track. And I always tell my track runners, you know, my athletes, I say, look, don't do it in practice. You know, they say, well, I practice. Practice does not make perfect. That saying is a lie. Perfect practice makes perfect. Practicing perfectly makes perfect. If you do all your best, give it your all, and you practice perfect, then that's a good practice. And that's the practice we have to get into as believers, as Muslims. I want to practice my deen perfectly. Again, that's what Ramadan brought us back to. I practice my deen perfectly. Okay, I'm going to read Quran how I'm supposed to. I'm going to pray how I'm supposed to. I'm going to be kind to my brother how I'm supposed to. I'm going to be kind to my sister how I'm supposed to. I'm going to give the greetings and not have malice behind the greeting. Because even if I say, when I say Assalamu alaikum, or Assalamu alaikum to my brother, and they say, well, alaikum assalam back to me, that means that's not just a peace be upon you, peace be upon you. That means we're obligated to carry the peace we just put upon each other. You are obligated to carry that peace. So coming out of Ramadan into this Eid, alhamdulillah, it's a beautiful celebration. You know, it's a celebration of you know, what we went through for 30 days. You know, but when we come out, 29 days, 30 days. But when we come out this Ramadan, we can't forget all of what we learned and all of what we gained coming through Ramadan. We can't say, okay, well, Ramadan is over, so I'm gonna start disliking this person again. Ramadan is over, so I'm gonna go back to watching whatever show. You know, doing whatever thing I was, whatever thing I fasted from. You know, whether it's been music, you know, television, social media, and it's not saying those things are bad, but it's saying do it in moderation. You know, if you're gonna watch something like, you know, you'll have people that fast and they'll fast from Netflix, but then as soon as Ramadan is over, it's like, oh, I can watch Netflix. Okay, and they watch 12 shows in 12, you know, in 12 hours, like a dope thing. You know, it's like I got my fix finally, and that's not how we should take the Ramadan. If we practice certain things in Ramadan, then we should take that practice outside of Ramadan. we're not, we shouldn't, we shouldn't say, okay, well, Ramadan is over, I'm gonna go back to everything I was doing before, or I'm gonna gradually get back into it. You know, they say it takes 29 to 30 days to form a new habit or break a habit. There's science. So in these 29 to 30 days that we've been reading Quran, that we've been coming to the masjid, that we've been holding back from anger and cursing and watching certain things and so on and so forth. If we continue to do that, that helps us and elevates us in our soul. That elevates us in our thinking. Because let's be honest, when we read Quran this Ramadan, and if we read it from cover to cover, you feel a little bit more intelligent, don't you? Feel a little bit more conversational. Feel like you know something about your deed just a little bit more, or maybe a lot more. You see things you haven't read before, and Allah reveals them to you, and Allah reveals things to us, and we may have read that ayat 100 times, 1,000 times, but we read it again this Ramadan, and it's a completely different meaning. Because why? We have grown in our development. We have grown in our development, and that's what Ramadan is for. It's bringing us back to obedience in order for Allah, so we can grow in the development and the magnificence that Allah wants us to do. You know, I was at, it's such a beautiful thing that we have because I was at work and I was talking to one of the guys and he said, "Well, tell me about the fast." Because a lot of them know. They said, "Tell me about the fast." I said, "Well," and I just explained the first part of it. I said, "Well, we don't eat, we don't drink, we don't have intercourse with our legal spouses from, let's say, 5 o'clock to about 8:58." And this is a Christian brother. This is his exact reaction. Good Lord Jesus! That was his exact reaction. And to us, this is something normal. This is something easy. I told him, I said, the not eating, not drinking, not procreating, that's the easy part. The hard part is when it comes to controlling yourself, controlling your anger, controlling your thinking, controlling your speech, so on and so forth, controlling what goes into what goes in your ear and what goes in your eyes. Because these are things that they call, windows to the soul. And so, Imam Muhammad, may Allah have mercy on him and grant him to paradise, he said that we're nothing but an embodiment of words. He said we live in an oppressive word environment. Try to think without a word. You can't do it. We can't do it. Even if you think of light, dark, clear, you're still thinking with words. We're still thinking with words. So we're nothing but an embodiment of words, living in an oppressive word environment. But during this Ramadan, we're so into the Quran and into other like Sunnah and other books that we want to elevate our thinking and our religion, that the world does not affect us. The world does not affect us, and that's how we come out of Ramadan. That's how we should stay out of Ramadan. We shouldn't just be the best Muslim we can be during Ramadan. This should be a daily thing. Now it's hard, yes. It says in the Quran, once you with difficulty comes the ease, yes. But when you finish one task, labor to another. And that's what we're doing right now. We're laboring to another task. Another task of what? The struggle we have to deal with in the circular world. We're coming into another task right now. We're coming into another task. So let's read on in the ayat. Allah says that cause you which will give you life. He say, and know that Allah comes in between a man and his heart. Now, when I was looking at this, it says Allah comes in between a man and his heart. That's something serious. Because where was the Quran revealed? On the heart. It was revealed on Muhammad's heart. You know, it says if it was revealed anywhere else, like if it was revealed on a mountain, it would crush the mountain. It was revealed on Muhammad's heart. The only thing capable enough to carry this message. Revealed on the heart. And so you look at it, if you say, okay, they're brain dead. Okay, you still alive. But if I say he's heart dead, dead. So the heart is very important. Scientifically, the heart gives out much more than it takes in. The heart regulates the whole body. You know, pumping the blood in and out, in and out. It regulates the entire body. Some scientists say 60-40, some say 70-30 of what it gives out, and it only takes in 30%. Gives out 60, only takes in 40%. This is the regulatory system in the body. So to say a lot, for Allah to say, I come in between a man and his heart. I come in between a man and his heart. Allah is closer to us than life itself. It says in the Quran as well, to make another connection, Allah says, I'm closer to you than your own jugular vein. Now, all of us know, I take this out, I'm dead too. Allah is closer to us than life. So we have to understand as the believers. When it says, I come in between a man and his heart. Because you have people that say, I give my heart to this, I give my heart to that. Maybe giving your heart to money. Maybe giving your heart to a woman, to a man. You know, that's why you have so many people going crazy if a person leaves them. You know, oh, don't leave me. I don't want you to be with nobody else. Boom, boom, boom. That's what happens. Why? You know, I learned this a long time ago, a very long time ago, that when you give your heart to Allah, your heart is good. You try to give your heart to something else, it's in trouble. Because if you say, oh, I give my heart to her, I love her so much, I give my heart to her. You know, I love my wife. My wife is beautiful. Love her. And I thank Allah for her. But I'm not going to give my heart to her. I'm not going to give my heart, oh, baby, take my heart. It is yours. You know, and I say I love my wife. You know, I was up in Virginia, and Imam Darnell Kareem was giving a khutbah. And for those of you who don't know Imam Darnell Kareem, he's one of the foremost pioneers in the community. And he said, brothers, you know, let's see my wife back there. I love my wife. You know, he's smooth like a Billy D type person. And so he said, I love my wife. He said, brothers, when you're on the roster, make sure you shout out to your wife. He said, that's going to make your marriage a whole lot easier and a whole lot sweeter. So I shout out to you, baby. I love you. Alhamdulillah. But again, if we give our heart to a female or a male or some inanimate object, you know, that heart will be crumbled. That heart will be destroyed if that thing is ever taken out of your life. So the question is, who do I give my heart to? Why not give my heart to the one who's equipped to handle it, the creator of it, Allah? We have to give our heart to Allah. Make Allah our first mate. That's after I love Allah. I say I love Allah, I'm with Allah all the way. And everything else falls into place. You know, children, family life, community life. But we have to put Allah ahead of it all. We have to put Allah ahead of it all. And putting Allah ahead of it all means I'm studying this Quran on a daily basis. Because this is Allah's word. This is Allah's word verbatim, as it was given to Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when we come into complete obedience, when we say we want to be obedient, we're always striving to be like Muhammad the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That is our ultimate goal. We'll never be exactly like him, but we're striving to get there, and that's good enough. Because if we're always striving, like I said, practicing perfectly, striving to get like Muhammad the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we will be okay. They're believers. We will be okay. So alhamdulillah. So we want to return to the obedience and keep the obedience to Allah that Ramadan has brought for us. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Again, Eid Mubarak. It's a wonderful day. It's just wonderful. Love this thing. Love Islam. Love Allah. And again, we're talking about a return to obedience. And you know, when people ask, why do we do certain things? Why do we fast? Why don't we eat pork? Why don't we drink, smoke, so on and so forth? You know, there are very easy answers for that. Because God told me to do so. You know, it's not, I don't need to go into, oh, the pig is this, the alcohol is that. I mean, we give some explanation behind it. But if you're not able to give the, let's say you just came and tell his mom, or you're not sure about something, let's say God told me to do so. Because it says what in the Quran? The believers what? We hear and we obey. It's not we hear and we think about it, maybe we'll do it. It's we hear and we obey. And so coming into the next year, we have to take it full advantage of what we just experienced during the Ramadan, going into the next year. And I'm talking to the younger generation now. I'm talking to everybody, but especially the younger generation. Because during Ramadan, I believe I went to 3 janazas of people that were somewhat close to me in this community. And alhamdulillah, they died in the month of Ramadan in the state of belief. One sister, she died right after Suhoor. She prayed Fajr. She went to sleep, didn't wake up. I said, alhamdulillah. You know, alhamdulillah, it's sad for the loss, but it says they died, but you perceive it not. You know, or they live, but you perceive it not. You know, Imam Muhammad, we had to say, Inna Allahi wa Inna Allahi Raji'un, to Allah we come, to Allah we return. You know, Imam Muhammad said that if you return to Allah, then that's it. That's it. You're done. It's over. You return to Allah all the way. So, you know, I've experienced these janazas, and it got me to thinking. I said, now, all this knowledge, all this wisdom, all this thinking, all this understanding is going into the dirt. Did we take advantage of this? These people who have been in our community in these United States of America since the beginning, what we call the first, the Nation of Islam days. You know, who's seen the transition from 6 or 7 different names until it was just no name. We just Muslims now. You know, we just the community and autonomous. And I said to myself, are we doing enough as younger people? I'm getting up there now. I said, are we doing enough? Are we giving time to establish? Because every time I talk to one of the pioneers, every time I talk to one of them, they always give me the stories of how they used to work. If the Nation of Islam was nothing but work, I'm like, where was the joy in that? But the Nation of Islam was nothing but work. Nothing but work. And so I said to myself, they used to go into the ghettos. They used to go into the college campuses. They used to go here and pull people out. Not force them into Islam, but invite them to the deen. Allah invites us. Like it says right here, all you believe, give your response to Allah and His Messenger when He calls you. Allah is calling. He's not saying get your butt over here. He's calling to us. He's saying come to this way of life. Come to this beautiful way of life. This beautiful way of thinking that will elevate your soul. That will elevate your thinking. That will help you be a light for others. Because and I'm pretty sure you all have experienced this, but when we're around other people, they feel they like it's like a gravitational pull. They want to get the light that we have. They may have been going through adversities in their life, and they want to get pulled into the light and the kindness that El Islam brings for our soul, the peace. Everybody wants peace, and El Islam is the peace, right? It's translated the peace. And it's not like, oh, I'm just got a peace of mind. It's a peace that Allah and Allah alone can give us. Allah and Allah alone. This is what El Islam is. So when people around us gravitate towards us, they want peace. Just like if you see a newborn baby, and you look at it and you say, oh, it's so beautiful. You want to kiss it, you want to hug it, you want to hold it. Why? Think about this, dear believers. Why do we want to love? I'm talking about just a regular baby, and it doesn't even have to be your child, your niece, your nephew, a regular baby. We want to because that baby came straight from heaven, and you see so much peace in his eyes. We want to get back to that peace because we've been through the world. We don't have complete peace in our life sometimes, but that baby has complete peace in his life. It's extremely innocent. I want you to do an exercise next time you get a chance. Look in the baby's eyes, and then look in the eyes of a grown adult, and look at the difference. It's a huge difference because that peace is not there. So that's what we want to do. We want to come back to that peace that Allah gives us. That's what the Ramadan helped us to do. Now we want to establish that in the community. We have to get to work, dear believers. Work, and more work. Because we have all the spirit in the world. We have all the spirit in the world, but we don't have the physical representation for that spirit. We need the physical representation. We're working on things here at the masjid. Inshallah, down on the corner, across the street, we're gonna establish the physical presence of our spiritual life. Inshallah. But we can't do that without help. And we need help from you all, dear believers. We need help for you all to put in the work. We have to put in the work. We have to invite people to the masjid. We have to invite people to the deen. And invite and show them in a way that it's a beautiful way of life. So, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I love it. I love it. Allah has truly blessed our community. Whether we see it or not, Allah has truly blessed our community. And we have to get to work. And the way we get back to work and get back to that obedience and to grow our spirituality is the Quran. This is the most important book. Allah wouldn't say read it during Ramadan or read it every day if it wasn't important. If I say I'm Muslim and I'm Muslim all the way, then I'm going to be reading this Quran every day, all the way. Right? We're going to be reading this Quran every day. We can every day, even if we don't read the juice every day, even if it's just an ayat. Read the Quran every day, even if you just go to a word, Walaka. Okay, I read the Quran today. And that will build up. Allah will build it up. Allah will build it up in your spirit to want to know more. Because Allah has created an appetite in the human being to love Him and follow Him. Now, Imam Muhammad said that it's not that people fail to worship, it's that they fail to worship properly. It's not that the human being fails to worship, but they fail to worship properly. So we have to worship properly, they're believers. And again, that's what Ramadan does. It brought us back to that obedience. So that don't let that obedience die. Don't let that Ramadan spirit die. Because we'll be in it for a few days and then it's like, okay, well, back to the normal old thing. So do not let that Ramadan spirit die. We have this. We can grow it. We can understand it. You know, we're past the point of where we're going to be lacking the technical understanding. We have so much information at our fingertips. It's a sin to be stupid. I'm gonna say it again. It's a sin to be ignorant in our deen. We have phones, books, so on and so forth. We have the Quran in its entirety. The Sahaba, it took 23 years for that Quran to come into its entirety. And Muhammad the Prophet said that they will have it. The people after you will have it better than you have it, and we're the people after them, so we have it better than they have it, and the people after us will have it better than we have it. So we have to get into our Quran to believers, stay in our Quran, and grow our thinking, inshallah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Oh Allah, give us good in this world and good in the hereafter, and protect us from the torment of the fire. Iqam salam.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in ihdinas siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فمن يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين الله أكبر سمع الله من حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر الله أكبر سمع الله من حمده Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Zikrullah, subhanallah. Alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Takbir! 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 Assalamualaikum. Before I jump on the mic, dear believers, Sister Khadija, Sister who normally serves the food out there, she's giving the food away for nothing today, for Eid Day, inshallah. So, Allahu Akbar. So, I wouldn't leave just yet if I were you. Stick around, you're in for a treat, inshallah. Assalamu
Assalamualaikum. Eid Mubarak, Eid Mubarak, Eid Mubarak. Alhamdulillah. Brothers and sisters, tomorrow will be Masjid al-Mukmalun Say Eid festivities here at the masjid. They will start at Louis Salat and go through, that's at 2 o'clock, right after Louis Salat, and go until Maghrib. We need brothers to bring Capri Sun and juices for the children, as well as ice. We have enough water here at the masjid. We just need to bring fresh food for the children. Also, sisters, we're asking that you bring your own special salad as well as desserts. And bring your spirit and your love. That's tomorrow. And if we have any business people here that have tents, please bring your tent so we can provide some shade because the festivities will be down on our corner lot. And for what I saw on the news, it's going to be 90 degrees tomorrow, so we need as much shade as we can get. We need at least 10 brothers to volunteer to help and assist with the logistics during the Eid al-Fitr celebration tomorrow. We need to set up, provide security, and clean up, so please help. We also want to work in shifts so everyone has a chance to enjoy the festivities. More brothers we have, the more we have are helping, the better. Please sign up at the front desk or contact Brother Anis or Sister Khadija Nuruddin. Oh, yeah, like he said, should be giving away free food here at the masjid. So, brothers and sisters, scoop it up. Please, brothers and sisters, don't forget that next Saturday, Master Manila will be presenting a Pioneer Appreciation Celebration at the Helene S. Mills Event Center. This is an event to celebrate our pioneers. We need everyone's support to make this special occasion a success. Get your tickets today, seating is limited. And I think that the deadline has passed for you to, if you are a pioneer, to fill out those forms, because we have to have enough time so we can print out the certificates. But you might want to see any committee member that, brother, I don't see him here, Brother Najee.
is the committee chair, but I don't see him. You can see me, brother, well, not she, I don't see none. She, Sister Khadijah, I'm sorry, Sister Linda, or Sister Zakia Ahmed. We still have dates for sale. This is a master fundraiser. They do dates will stay good all year round. I think I'm gonna get another case before they get gone, so I can have something to nibble on for the rest of the year. Um, Make it a habit to support Muslim businesses and vendors and make community life a reality. If it's too late, but you can still pay your e-tax $10 per person. Assalamu alaikum.